I'm here with Martin to talk about a brand new record, Utopia. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly.
That's exactly correct.
All right, perfect, perfect. It comes out October 31st on Napalm Records. It's been ages since I've seen you, and it
Yeah.
feels like it's been ages since you guys have released new music. So how's
Yeah.
life on your end of the Atlantic?
Oh, uh, what do you mean? Sorry.
How's things going with you? Are you guys busy
Oh,
preparing for the release?
oh yes, very busy currently. Actually, we are spending entire days preparing the shipments, the orders that people did on our official band store, and also we are preparing for a upcoming tour next week.
Wow, so
So a
busy
lot of
times.
work. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of work. So let me ask you this. What was the inspiration behind going with a full French album?
Oh, well, it's very simple. When we released our previous album, so A Dream of Wilderness in 2021, Marion, she had the idea to release one song as a bonus track, which was Le Radeau de la Méduse. And it was a French version to see how, if it worked for her as a singer, and also to see if people were going to like it. And actually, yes, it was the case. She found that she really liked writing in her own language. She often says that in French, when she's writing lyrics in French, she's able to um, be much more comfortable in general, and it's easier for her to convey some intense feelings. And the result is vocals which are little bit more aggressive. And when we were touring in Europe, almost every night we were asking people, "Do you want the English version or the French version?" And every time people answered the French version. So she decided to write this album entirely in French, and I think it was a great idea.
I agree, specifically with the sound that you guys went on this album. I feel like the choice of French and the choice of sound kind of blends perfectly together. And speaking of that blend, I felt that this is a way more folkier, theatrical, cinematic sounding record than anything you guys ever released before. So, what was the inspiration behind that?
Oh, well, thank you for saying that because I'm very glad you found it like folky and symphonic because most of the time it means catchy. And well, this time the influences in terms of music were almost as before many different things. I'm inspired by many kind of music that I listen nowadays. So a lot of classical music and baroque music, but also a lot of folk music, like all the traditional music from either from France or from other European countries. And I think in some tracks, especially, it can be heard because, in folk music, there is a common trope in folk music that I love. It's the use of woodwinds like flutes or oboes or all that, and in a specific way, in a polyphonic way, which means there are like two melodies or three melodies playing at the same time. Well, this is something that I always liked, and in this album, I kind of I try to reproduce that, but with guitars, sometimes with woodwinds, but sometimes with guitars. Well, I'm glad of the result, but of course we can do better, and I hope we will do better in the future. But I'm glad of the result.
So let me ask you this. Considering how good this album sounds, considering that folk influence, considering how well the French vocals work with that folk influence, do you see the band now perhaps going a little bit more deeper into this direction and a little bit further away from where you guys started, which was more of a traditional melodic death metal sound?
That's a great question, and it's actually very difficult for us to label our own music. So I can reply in terms of direction, the direction of our music, but it's difficult to say, for example, if we are going towards folk or not, because we all have different definitions. But in terms of direction, I think I think each album we will release will be a bit different, and it's very complicated to say how is going to sound our next album, because this time I have been more influenced by traditional music, for example. But next time, I don't know. Maybe next time I will get back to more traditional sound and riffs and all that. It's a bit chaotic, you know. It's mostly based on what I am enjoying listening when I'm writing the songs. It's not that much a deliberate process towards something very specific, or at least I don't. I'm not conscious of it,
It's
so I don't
more
know.
organic. It's more in the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really interesting. I really like your take from that perspective, which leaves the doors open for you guys to kind of go anywhere. Is that something that appeals to you? The fact that you don't want to box yourself in into just one sound, one genre. You want to leave the door wide open for you guys to be able to go anywhere you want to go.
Yes, yes. In a way, I will say that since I'm writing music like I don't know how many years ago, I feel like I'm always writing the same music because I always like the same music elements. I like the same music elements than like 20 years ago, but I don't give them the same weight over time. It changes in with every album we do. So it's very unlikely, for example, that the next album will be a full clean vocals. I mean, it's impossible because we don't like that. But yes, when as long as we consider the following elements like symphonic parts, like an orchestra, some folky melodies, some melodic death metal harmonization and vibe in some place, some melodic black also influences here and there. I feel that I'm always writing, I'm always going to write music which is based on these elements, but I will probably not put them in the same order every time.
And I felt that with this record, because if you listen to this album, everything that you guys showcase on this album, you showcased it before. You just showcased it in different amounts. So,
Yes.
so the album shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody. It's just that you guys on this album focused a little bit more on the French, which you guys have done tracks in French before. You focused a little bit more on the folk, which you guys have had some folk elements before. You focused a little bit more on the orchestrations, which you had that before. So it's a really cool record because the DNA of the band is still there. It's just that on this album, you guys emphasized the elements that were perhaps a little bit more on the back in previous records.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that we are the kind of band who is trying in an organic way to refine our formula. Because when I listen to the music that we were doing 10 years ago, for example, well, I listen to it and I feel like, okay, it wasn't the best music ever. I still like it, but it wasn't the best. And every time we make an album, there are some elements which I feel we do better than before. For example, on this album, I feel that the guitar leads are better, the orchestrations are better.
Sure.
There are some things which are not necessarily better, but like the drums. I'm not sure, but I feel we are the kind of band who is trying to refine our music album after album without changing the essence of our music every time. Um, uh, some time ago, I was reading an article about, I don't know what was the general idea, but the article mentioned that when it comes to artists, there are two main kinds of artists. There are artists which are like visionaries. They come with great novel ideas when they're 20 years old, and that's absolutely amazing. Well, we are not like this. And there are other artists. I don't remember the name of this category, but this other kind of artist was the kind who is refining their art throughout their entire life, and at the beginning they just suck, they're bad, and slowly became better and better. Well, I feel we may be more in this category.
Do you see this album as a theme-driven concept record?
Yes and no. If Marion was here, she will tell you that it's not a concept album because, well, it's an album about utopia. That's a theme. But however, when we talk about concept album, in general, we mean an album where all the tracks are very connected, like it's telling a story with a character and all that. And this is not the case. So it's not a concept album, but however, yes, there is a, there is a theme which is the utopia or the utopias with an S. And each of the tracks on this album is talking about this theme, but in a different way. For example, well, of course, Marion will be much more comfortable talking about this than me, but I remember what, what she says in interviews. So, for example, the song which is called Le Cimetière Marin, it comes from a French poem from Paul Valéry, who was a French, and the poem was about the idea to find back hope when everything seems lost and difficult. It was written, well, when in Europe during the two world wars, it was difficult to imagine a better future. That was the core of this song. And for example, on another song, on Contrepoint, she talked about another event which happened in the Renaissance when a thinker, a French thinker, has been burned by the church because of his ideas and because he had a specific idea. He had specific ideas about utopias, about the Renaissance utopia. So this album is about utopia, but each song is like a different take on this theme.
And speaking of Utopia, you guys closed the record with Utopia 1, Part 1 and Part 2.
Yes.
I thought that reminded me, not musically, but just from an idea of closing an album with a Part 1 and a Part 2. It reminded me of Lorna Shore with Pain Remains 1, 2, and 3
Oh, maybe, yes.
to close off of their record. These two songs are massive. And the thing I
Thank you.
really like about these two songs is that you guys created two tracks that you can listen to them individually and they work individually as their own songs. But when you listen to them back to back, they become a single song at the same
Yeah,
time. So they have this ability to morph from individual songs into a single song, almost like Power Rangers, like they're morphing into something bigger.
exactly.
How was creating these two massive tracks? Did you guys create these songs with the idea, okay, we're going to put them at the end of the record, or the songs kind of developed into that?
Yes, I agree with what you said because um, it was we did it on purpose that these two songs, even if they are supposed to merge to become one fuel song, they are supposed to be listenable alone because there's something that I really dislike personally. I, that's that's my take, but I don't really like when I listen to albums and there is a long song which is divided in parts, but you can't listen to just one of the parts. You have to listen to everything, but still it's divided in parts. So it doesn't make sense to me. I mean, just do a long song. There is a story about this song. When Marion told me about her idea to do this album about utopia, she always think about the album theme, and then we discuss it together. And I was very inspired by it. This is an idea that I really like. And actually, before that, I already wrote two song beginnings, one which sounded like quite sad, pessimistic, a kind of despair emotion, and the second one which was much more hopeful. And when she told me about her idea to make this album about utopia, I remembered about these two song beginnings, which became Utopie Partie 1 and Utopie Partie 2. The reasoning was that when it comes to utopia, for me, very personally, utopia is it's an idea, it's a concept which is linked to positive emotions and also negative emotions, because it's of course it's a personal experience, and maybe people who may disagree with this, but for me, every time I felt the need to imagine a better future, something like an utopia, it was when I was like in despair. I was very sad and pessimistic, and for me, the concept of utopia has always been linked to this situation where you feel negative emotion, you are not optimistic about the future, and yet you try to imagine a better future. Because when you are content, when you're satisfied in your life and about, I don't know, the state of the world in general, you don't feel the need to imagine a better world. You don't feel the need to imagine an utopia. So that's why this long song, Utopie, is cut in two, because the idea was that the first part, Utopie Partie 1, was the pessimistic, the despair, sad part of Utopia, which um, which handles the situation where, well, you are kind of hopeless. And then the second song is much more positive. It's the moment where when you regain the hope and you find back the ability to imagine a better future, a better world, and all that. And it was important for us that these two songs will be complete on their own, and yet it was also necessary that they would merge. For example, we are going to play these songs live, and we don't imagine playing just one and not the other, because they are really complementary.
I agree 100%, 100%. And a great way to finish the album, by the way. It really gives the record a sense of closure and a sense of finality to it. I have to ask you about Lucy. She's no longer with the band. She
Yeah,
left the band in 2023.
yeah.
Has that had an impact on you guys? Because I remember meeting up with you guys in Toronto before the pandemic, and you guys were so tight, all of you, like just a great group of friends. So, what kind of impact has her departure had on the band?
Well, it's always very difficult to when a band member leaves, because where this is not something that happened many times in Aephanemer. With Marion and Michael, we are in the band since the very beginning, so we only had changes when it came to bassists. So it was, yes, it was an issue because, well, we had a great chemistry live and also in real life. It was very fun to travel together and all that. But I think it's important for everyone involved to be able to say, well, I don't feel like doing it again, and to just change. And nowadays she doesn't do music anymore, and if that's probably what makes her happier. And of course we can only respect that, because it's very complicated when you're in a situation when you're an artist, you have a band, and uh, you have some benefits or good moments of being able to tour, to play shows. It's very fun. You have a lot of positive moments, and it's very difficult to recognize when, well, the motivation and the interest is gone, and you prefer doing something else. So this is what happened with Lucy, and we absolutely respect that, and we always wish her the best in her new projects and new life.
And now you have a new bass player. So,
Yeah.
how much of an impact did he have on this record? Or does the creative weight of the band falls mostly on your shoulders?
Well, he didn't have an impact because actually he was hired. He joined the band after the record was made. So on this record, actually, I played the bass myself. So I recorded the bass myself. I bought a very nice bass for that, and I recorded it. That's the first time I do it. I don't know if I will do it in the future, but he joined the band, and the record was always there. And actually, it was a condition, an important condition for us to, regarding the person we would hire for this role in the band. We were looking for someone who was really liking our music, for someone who was going to tell us, I really like melodic death metal. I really like symphonic components, and I really agree with our art, with your artistic choices. And that's what happened because Florian, who joined the band, well, he didn't wait for us to listen to melodic death metal and symphonic death metal, and that's great because when he sent us his application, we saw that he had a YouTube channel. He's doing covers for many years, and he was already doing covers of like Children of Bodom, Amon Amarth, and many bands that we loved. So we were convinced, we knew that he will be a good match, and he's a great match. That's really perfect.
So the album comes out October 31st. You guys are heading on the road in Europe. Who are you going on tour with?
We are going on tour with Dark Oath. So this is
A
a
Portuguese band.
melodic. Yeah, exactly. So they are
They
melodic
also
death
released a
metal.
new album, I believe,
Yes, it was last year.
last year. Yeah.
Yes, if I'm right, it was in 2024. A great album. So I recommend everyone to listen to them. They're great, and they're very cool and very kind. So that's the reason why it was very natural for us to propose them to join this tour. And so they're playing the same kind of music than we're playing, melodic death metal, but with symphonic components. They're from Portugal, and I don't know which city, sorry. And yeah, they're really great. And we're also doing this tour with Valalor, who is an
From Australia.
folk metal from Australia. Yeah, they're coming from Australia just for this tour, and they were trying to tour Europe for many years. I know that they were supposed to do a tour with another band, I don't remember who, a few years ago, and the tour was cancelled. But this time, well, our agent proposed us to take them, and of course, we were interested.
It's a
So
great
yes, it's going to
package.
be, yeah, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing.
I think you guys are going to have a great time. Three really awesome bands with a lot of commonalities between them. And wow, like that is a great package. That's unbelievable. So you're going to close off 2025 on a strong note with a new album and a big European tour.
Yeah.
What do you have already in plans for 2026?
Yeah, well, we have many plans for 2026. Some of these plans are already scheduled, but we can't announce them yet. And other plans are like being studied. And for example, we are trying to return to Canada because it's been like 6 years. It's a bit difficult because, well, we have quite some an audience in Canada, but mostly in the eastern part of Canada. So we are checking how we can do this. We are in contact with a Canadian band to that will be play with us, but for now it's still in progress. So I can say more about it, but we are really trying, and we are also trying to play in other places. Well, of course, we have a French tour, which is scheduled, and we can't announce it yet. And we are going to try to play in other places. We have contacts with a promoter, with a booker in Japan, also with promoters in South America. We are trying many different things at the same time, and we don't know if we're going uh, to be able to do all this, but we are really trying it. It's a bit difficult because when a band is really big and has a huge audience, well, there is a lot of money involved. So of course you will find partners who will work for you and help you setting up. But when you're like us, you have enough followers to do a tour, but it's barely enough. Well, you have to convince people. It's much more complicated, and you have to do a big part of the work on your own. That's what we do. So we have a lot of plans for next year, and we will give many shows next year. That's for
Listen,
sure.
if you need any help with the Canadian side of things, with connections with promoters, bands, whatever, just reach out to me. Let me know. I'm more than happy to help you
Thank you.
guys out. I would love to see you guys doing
Thanks a lot.
An East Coast Canada tour because between Quebec and Ontario, you guys could probably do nine,
Yeah.
10 shows easily, without having to travel too far, in this part of the country for sure.
Well, thanks a lot. I will remember this. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, if you need anything, let me know. I would love to see you guys back in Toronto. Last time you guys were here was on that tour with Ailstorm.
Yeah. Yeah.
It feels like a lifetime ago. Uh,
Yeah. Like
it
just
really feels like
before the pandemic.
yeah, yeah, way before the pandemic. So you guys are definitely due to come back. Looking forward to it. Thank you for your time. I honestly, it's always a pleasure to see you. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. Wish Marion the best. I hope you guys have a
Yeah.
wonderful tour and much success with the new album, Utopia. Once again, out October 31st on Napalm Records.
Exactly. Thank you very much for this interview, for the great question. And it's always a great pleasure to discuss with you. So thanks a lot.